Every man she destroyed, he lost. Every girl who tried to love him, his sister chased away. But Favor didn't run. And that one decision cracked open a story nobody saw coming. The break room at Kimtech smelled like burnt coffee and quiet desperation. Favor stirred her cup slowly, watching the steam curl and disappear. She'd been in Seoul for 4 months, hired as a junior project coordinator through a relocation program, and she still hadn't figured out if this city was saving her or swallowing her whole. Back in Lagos, she'd been someone's daughter, someone's almost wife, someone's almost enough. Here, she was just badge number 4471. She liked that. The invisibility felt clean. You're stirring that like it owes you money. She turned. A woman leaned against the counter. Sharp bob, sharp eyes, the kind of smile that was more observation than warmth. Her name tag read Ji-yeon, HR. Long morning, Favor said simply. They're all long here. Ji-yeon poured her own cup. You're on the director's floor, right? Floor 12? Yes? Ji-yeon's smile shifted. Something flickered behind it. Good luck. She left before Favor could ask what that meant. Upstairs, Kim stood at the floor-to-ceiling window of his corner office, his back to the room. 34 years old. Founder. The kind of man whose silence made entire boardrooms hold their breath. He wasn't reading the skyline. He was avoiding his phone. It had buzzed 6 times in the last 10 minutes. Same contact each time. Soo-Ah, his sister. He finally picked up on the 7th buzz. You didn't come to dinner. Her voice was soft. That was always the warning sign, the softness. I had a deadline. You always have a deadline when I invite someone for you. A pause. She waited 2 hours, Appa. I didn't ask you to invite anyone. I'm trying to help you. Soo-Ah, every girl you date leaves. Her voice thinned. Don't you want someone who will stay? He closed his eyes. Good night. He hung up, set the phone face down, pressed both palms flat on his desk like he was trying to hold the surface steady. Outside his glass wall, he heard the elevator open. New footsteps, unhurried, unbothered. He turned slightly. A woman in a yellow blouse walked to her desk, set down her coffee, and opened her laptop like she had absolutely nowhere else to be. He didn't know her name yet, but something about the stillness of her bothered him in a way he couldn't name. God, have you ever walked into a place where nobody expected you to last and decided to stay anyway? Drop a comment below. It happened on a Tuesday. Favor was delivering a project brief to floor 12 when she heard it. A voice, low and controlled, coming from behind Kim's office door. She's not right for this team. Transfer her. Favor's hand froze on the door handle. Soo-Ah, you don't even work here. Kim's voice, tight. I work with you. There's a difference. She's qualified. She stays. Silence. Then heels, sharp, deliberate, clicked toward the door. Favor stepped back, but not fast enough. The door swung open and a woman walked out. Beautiful, immaculate, with eyes that swept over Favor like a security scanner. You're the new coordinator. Not a question. Yes. Favor held her gaze. Favor Adeyemi. Soo-Ah smiled. That same not quite warm smile Ji-yeon had worn downstairs. How long do you plan to stay? As long as my contract says. Something shifted in Soo-Ah's eyes. Not anger, more like curiosity. Like she'd expected Favor to flinch and was recalibrating because she hadn't. We'll see, she added softly and walked away. Favor exhaled, knocked twice. Come in. Kim was standing exactly as she'd first seen him, facing the window. He turned, and for the first time she saw his face up close. Sharp jaw, tired eyes, the look of a man who had been managing something exhausting for a very long time. "The brief?" he said. "Yes, sir." She crossed the room, set it on his desk. He glanced at the folder, then at her. "She said something to you." "Nothing I couldn't handle." A pause. He studied her the way you study a contract clause you almost missed. Most people look rattled after meeting her. I'm not most people. He almost smiled. Almost. Clearly. He opened the brief. "That'll be all." She turned to leave. "Adeyemi." She stopped. "Don't let her change how you move in this building." His voice was quiet, deliberate, like he meant it more than the words actually said. Favor nodded once and walked out. Her heart was hammering, not from fear, from something she didn't have a name for yet. If someone tried to intimidate you on your very first real encounter, would you hold your ground or walk away? Tell us in the comments. Favor told herself it meant nothing. The way he'd said her name, Adeyemi, like he was testing the weight of it. The way his eyes had followed her to the door. She buried it under spreadsheets and project timelines and the comfortable noise of being new and busy and purposeful. She was not here for a man, especially not her boss, especially not one with a sister like that. She'd done complicated before. Complicated had left her standing at an altar in Lagos with 200 guests and no groom. Complicated had cost her 2 years and 1 country. She was done paying that price, so she worked. Harder than anyone on the floor. Arrived before the cleaners, left after the security guard's second round. She built a wall out of competence and called it ambition. Kim, meanwhile, was doing his own version of the same thing. He buried himself in the Dijon expansion proposal. 14-hour days, back-to-back calls with Tokyo. He was good at this, filling every hour until there was no room for anything else to grow. But he noticed things. He always noticed things. He noticed that Favor reorganized the project tracking system without being asked. And it was better than what his senior coordinator had built in 6 months. He noticed she never laughed too loudly or complained too openly. She had the discipline of someone who'd learned that taking up too much space gets you hurt. He recognized that. Deeply. Soo-Ah called on Thursday. "I heard she's still there." "She works here, Soo-Ah." "I don't like her." "You don't like anyone He stopped. Silence stretched between them. "Anyone you what?" Soo-Ah's voice dropped to something careful. "Anyone on my floor," he finished. Flat, closed. "Appa." Softer now. "I just don't want you hurt again. Remember Hanna? Remember what happened?" His jaw tightened. "I remember." "Then be careful." He hung up, sat in his quiet office, looked through the glass wall at the floor below. Favor was at her desk. Yellow blouse again, headphones in, completely unaware of being watched. He looked away first. That bothered him most of all. The elevator broke on a Friday evening, not metaphorically, literally, a mechanical failure that locked the lifts between floors and left the stairwells as the only exit. Facilities sent an announcement at 7:42 p.m. By then, most of the floor had already gone home. Favor had not. She was finishing a presentation revision when the lights shifted to emergency mode. Dim, orange, and slightly apocalyptic. She saved her file, grabbed her bag, and headed for the stairwell. He was already there. Kim stood at the stairwell door. A jacket off, sleeves rolled, phone pressed to his ear. He glanced at her as she pushed through. Didn't stop talking. "Tell facilities it's unacceptable. Yes, tonight." He hung up, looked at her. "You're still here." "Deadline?" she said simply. 12 flights, he said. "I have legs." He almost smiled again. That almost was becoming a pattern. He held the door open. She walked through first. They descended in silence, the comfortable kind that neither of them acknowledged was comfortable. By the 6th floor landing, she stumbled. Heel caught a ridge in the concrete. His hand shot out, caught her elbow before she could fall. She grabbed his arm instinctively. They froze. His hand was warm. Her grip was tight. They were close enough that she could see a small scar near his jaw she hadn't noticed before. She released him first. Thank you." "Careful," he said. His voice was different, lower, less boss, more human. They kept walking. "You're Nigerian," he said. Not a question. "Yoruba, Lagos." She glanced at him. "You're going to ask how I ended up in Seoul." "I was going to ask if you're cold. The stairwell is—" He stopped, shrugged out of his jacket without finishing the sentence, and held it out. She stared at it. "It's just a jacket, Adeyemi." She took it slowly. It smelled like cedar and something quieter underneath. She didn't examine that thought. By the ground floor, they pushed out into the cool Seoul night. His driver was waiting. He paused. "Do you need a ride?" She looked at him for a long moment. "I'll take the subway." He nodded. She handed back the jacket. Their fingers touched in the exchange. Neither mentioned it. It was Ji-yeon who told her. They were in the break room again. 2 weeks later, rain against the windows. The kind of gray Seoul afternoon that made people talk more than they intended. "You know about Han-na?" Ji-yeon asked, stirring her tea. "No." Director Kim's last relationship. 8 months. She was a designer. Warm, funny, everyone loved her. Ji-yeon paused. Soo-Ah didn't. Favor said nothing. Listened. Soo-Ah showed up at Han-na's apartment. Twice. Told her things. We don't know exactly what. Han-na resigned 2 days later. Left Seoul entirely. Kim didn't find out what happened until she was already gone. Ji-yeon looked at Favor carefully. There were others before Han-na, 3, maybe 4. All gone, all silent about why. "Why does he let it continue?" Favor asked quietly. Ji-yeon's expression shifted. Something between pity and respect. Their parents died when Soo-Ah was 16. He raised her. She's not just his sister, she's his guilt, his responsibility. He's never been able to choose himself over her. She paused. Until maybe now. "Why are you telling me this?" Ji-yeon smiled. The real one this time. "Because you didn't flinch. And in 2 years, I've never seen that." That evening, Favor was packing up when she found an envelope on her desk. Inside, a handwritten note. No signature. The Daejeon proposal. Section 4, Market Entry Strategy. Your restructure saved it. Guy? She read it 3 times. She turned it over. Nothing else. Just K. She told herself it was professional courtesy. She was lying. The next morning she arrived early. He was already in. Their eyes met through the glass wall. He looked away first, then looked back, like he'd made a decision between the 2 glances. He came to her desk, stood there a moment. "The presentation was excellent," he said. "Thank you, sir." "Kim." He said it quietly. "You can call me Kim." She looked up at him. "That changes things." "I know," he said, and walked back to his office. She sat very still for a full minute after. Something was already shifting. She could feel it the way you feel weather before it breaks. He started finding reasons. A budget review that needed a second eye. A vendor call where he wanted her read on the room. Small things. Professional things. Things that kept her in his orbit without either of them having to name why. She noticed. She let it happen. One evening, they were alone in the conference room, takeout containers between them, a deadline dissolved, the city glittering below. Tell me something true," she said suddenly. He looked up from his laptop. "What?" "Something you don't say in meetings." She shrugged. "We've been working together for 2 months. I know your coffee order and your deadline face. I don't know anything real. He was quiet for a moment. Then, I hate that I'm good at this. At what? Running a company. He closed the laptop slowly. I built this because Soo-Ah needed stability after our parents died. I needed to give her something solid. And then it grew and kept growing, and somewhere in that I forgot to build anything for myself. The honesty of it landed between them like something fragile. What would you have built? Favor asked softly. If it had been just for you? He thought about it. Really thought. Something smaller, a design firm maybe. Something that made beautiful things instead of profitable ones. He paused. What about you? What are you running from? She met his eyes. Who said I'm running? You work like someone who's afraid to stop. She was quiet for a beat. I was supposed to get married 2 years ago. He left 4 days before the wedding. I came here because I needed somewhere nobody knew that version of me. I'm sorry. Don't be. He did me a favor. A small, real smile. Pun intended. He laughed, actually laughed. Full and warm and completely unguarded. She'd never heard it before. It changed his whole face. You're funny, he said, like it surprised him. You're human, she replied. Took me a while to see it. They looked at each other in the quiet. The city hummed below. Neither reached for their laptops. What moment made you realize someone was different from everyone else? Drop it in the comments. We want to hear your story. Soo-Ah came to the office on a Wednesday. Favor knew something was wrong the moment the elevator opened. The floor went quiet. That specific, collective quiet that means everyone is pretending not to watch. Soo-Ah walked straight to Favor's desk. I need a word. Polite, surgical. I'm in the middle of... It won't take long. They went to the small meeting room off the corridor. Soo-Ah closed the door, turned, and for the first time, dropped the careful smile entirely. I know what's happening, she said. Don't insult me by pretending otherwise. Favor stayed still. I don't know what you think is... He laughs differently now. He's distracted. Or he forgot our Sunday call twice. Her voice was steady, but her hands were shaking slightly. You're doing something to him. I'm not doing anything. You're making him want things he can't have. Soo-Ah stepped closer. Every woman who's tried this has hurt him. Every single one. Do you understand what it cost him the last time? He didn't sleep for 3 months. He lost weight. He ran this company on nothing because he had nothing left. I'm not Han-Na. No, you're worse. The words were quiet and precise. Because he actually looks at you. The silence was brutal. I'm asking you, Soo-Ah said, and her voice cracked. Just slightly, just once. To leave him alone. Transfer floors. Finish your contract and go home. Let him be. Her eyes were wet now. He's all I have, and I am all he has. Don't break that. She left before Favor could respond. Favor sat in that room for a long time. She thought about Lagos, about a man who'd chosen himself over her, about all the ways she'd rebuilt herself in a foreign city, brick by careful brick. She thought about Kim's laugh in the conference room, the jacket in the stairwell. You can call me Kim. Then she requested a meeting with HR. When Kim saw the transfer request form on his desk that evening, he went still. He read her name 3 times. Then he stood up and walked out of his office for the first time all day without knowing where he was going. He found her in the parking garage. She was waiting for her cab, bag over her shoulder, eyes forward. She heard his footsteps and didn't turn. You filed for transfer. His voice was raw, not controlled, not boss-like, just raw. It's better this way. Better for who? She turned then. His tie was loose, his hair, always immaculate, slightly undone. He looked like a man who'd run down 6 flights of stairs, which he had. Kim, don't. He stepped closer. Don't manage me. Don't make a clean decision and wrap it up like it's nothing. Tell me the truth. She held his gaze. Your sister came to see me. Something shifted in his face. Hard, painful. She loves you, Favor said carefully. She's terrified. And she's not wrong that I feel something I shouldn't. Her voice caught. But she asked me to leave, and maybe that's the answer. Maybe the kindest thing I do here is go. That's not your decision to make for me. Then whose is it? Mine. He said it firmly. It has always been mine, and I have let everyone else make it for long enough. He exhaled slowly. I know what she does. I've known longer than I admitted to myself. Hanna called me 6 months after she left. Told me everything. His jaw tightened. I told myself Soo-Ah did it out of love. And she did. But love doesn't get to be a cage. Favor was quiet. I'm not asking you to fight my sister, he said. I'm asking you not to leave because of her. Kim, this is complicated. I know. She could make things very difficult. I know that too. And you still... Yes? Simple. Absolute. Whatever the question is, yes. She looked at him for a long time. The garage was cold. A cab somewhere above them honked. The city did what cities do, kept moving, indifferent. I'm not gentle, she warned him quietly. I've been broken before and I rebuilt myself sharp. I don't do halfway. Good. His voice dropped. Neither do I. She breathed in, breathed out. I'm not filing that transfer, she said. The relief on his face was quiet and total. He called Soo-Ah that night. She picked up on the second ring, voice careful. Appa. I need you to listen to me all the way through. Don't speak until I'm done. He sat on his apartment floor, back against the couch. The same place he'd sat after Hanna left, after every silence Soo-Ah had engineered. I love you. You are the reason I built everything I built. You are the person I chose every single time, at every cost. And I am telling you now that I am also allowed to choose myself. Silence. What she did to Hanna, what you said to Favor today, it ends. His voice was steady. No anger, just bone-deep finality. If you do anything to push her away, I will not cut you off. I will not hate you, but I will grieve you, and I'll keep going. Do you understand? A long silence. Then Soo-Ah's voice. Small, stripped of everything. I'm scared of being left. I know, he said gently. I've been scared of the same thing my whole life. But Soo-Ah, holding people hostage isn't the same as keeping them. She cried. He let her. He stayed on the phone until she was quiet. I'll try, she whispered. That's all I'm asking. 6 weeks later, Favor sat across from Soo-Ah at a small restaurant near Gyeongbokgung. Kim had arranged it. Hadn't warned either of them how nervous he was. It was awkward. Stiff. Soo-Ah's hands were folded too tightly on the table. Then Favor said, You were right, you know. Soo-Ah looked up sharply. That he's different now. That something changed. Favor held her gaze steady. I want you to know, I don't take that lightly, not even a little. Something cracked open in Soo-Ah's expression. Not warmth yet, but the beginning of the possibility of it. He ordered your coffee wrong, Soo-Ah said finally. This morning. He was distracted. Favor smiled. I know, I didn't say anything. Why? Because he looked happy. Soo-Ah was quiet for a moment. Then softly, he did, didn't he? Across the restaurant, Kim watched through the window, standing on the pavement, too anxious to go inside. He saw Soo-Ah's shoulders drop, saw Favor laugh at something, real and warm, saw his sister slowly, almost imperceptibly, lean forward. He pressed his back against the cold wall, closed his eyes. For the first time in a long time, nothing felt like it was about to break. If someone chose you, even when it cost them, would you be brave enough to stay? Tell us in the comments. And if this story moved you, share it with someone who needs to hear it today.